The setting is solid. Home alone, away from the city center and in a comfortable environment. The mental set needs to be analyzed more broadly. I have long wanted to go in depth. In previous trips with the DMT, low dosages and with a pipe, it is as if the substance itself asked me what I really wanted to do, stay on the surface or go or probe the skies and abysses of reality. As with any big leap, however, first you have to deal with the fear of the unknown and the unpredictable outcome. It's like on a bike. I have been riding a bike for a long time and I can say that I can easily do the small jumps. But when there is a notable leap, the thought and the adrenaline are always there. The outcome is not certain, and certainly, if you do this kind of jumps, you will be in the air for a long time. Either it can go well and be unbelievable, or it can go differently, a wild card that saves me the jump, a fall that does not cause damage, and finally, the worst of the consequences, falls that cause trauma. Although you can never know with absolute certainty how a jump can go, what I have learned from experience is that until you do it you can never know how it will go. Experience is made up of action and also not action. However, it is a choice. Sometimes it is right to give up if you don't feel it. But when you feel that mixture of fear and adrenaline, that emotion that scares you but at the same time charges you beyond belief, you jump. And from there, what happens happens, but for better or for worse, the experience you will have will allow you to be a more complete, more alive version of yourself. Well, I want to dive properly, in depth. Let's talk about intentions. The inner fire. Here's what I've been looking for since the beginning of the year. My inner fire, my engine. How to feed it, how to make it more efficient, how to cure and maintain it over time, how to strengthen it. Experience. It was almost evening. There was a cloudy sunset. Few light. We light on. I take a huge initial roll. Within 5 seconds I realize that I was no longer able to hold my pipe and pass it to the sitter. I start to see everything extremely distorted, but the sitter tells me to take the last pitch. At that moment it is as if McKenna had also pushed me to take the third pitch. I took courage, and with the strength I had left I did it. In a split second I collapsed on the sofa and left. The vibration was extremely intense. I find myself in an Arabian room with light blue colors. Initially the ego was there. In fact, I wondered how long it would take to return, and I told myself that I had to accept everything that could happen. At one point there was a real metamorphosis of the ego. I no longer wondered about the time. In a certain sense I didn't even think anymore. I was communicating in a new way. It was as if there were other beings in this room. It was as if I were an alien from another dimension. The energy I perceived was the same as when my friends and I talk about reality, our intuitions, our doubts. An exploratory energy that aims at understanding and sharing in order to evolve all together. A collective growth. There has never been a self-centered point of view on this trip. Thoughts and intuitions were transmuted into assembly lines that changed color and flowed into the center of the room, as we were talking at the table, in a very intricate system of gears and chains that changed color. Perhaps it was a construction of that dimension and our alien thoughts were being transmuted into colors. I do not know. The complexity was incredible. The ego was not there, as it was as if there were only our souls, energies, essences. I felt familiarity in that dimension. The flow of color energy that materialized in these highways to then converge in the machinery was powered by us. Our language was simultaneous and creative, in the very sense that it created something in reality. A transdimensional creation perhaps. The importance of our dialogues is not directly visible in the ordinary dimension, or better, in ordinary empirical experience. There is no directly observable phenomenon resulting from our conversations. But when I was in the dimension of the DMT, the phenomenological experience was directly observable. We made that machine work through our established intuitions in different colors. I don't know if that machinery was just a complex system of intuitions that somehow explain the functioning of reality, or if it were something else. What I do know is that I was observing and contributing to the functioning of this extremely intricate mechanism. The atmosphere was purely dreamlike. A dream with extremely high and energetic vibrations. The chromatic contrast of the celestial blue of the room and the machinery with the pure and sparkling lines of colors was stunning. I felt the presence of someone within 1 centimeter of my left ear, as if they were breathing on me. Having said that, it seems like something bad, but in the meantime you can't judge things as good or bad. They are just as they are. Also in this case there was no temporal dimension. There was no before and after. Pure present. At some point everything started to vibrate, and in that moment it is as if I were giving a lot of energy into that dimension, into that machine. I was sharing deep energy. There was a very intense energy discharge on my part, and at that moment my breathing became conscious again. Soon it is as if the other alien presences had left the room, and, in a short time, I opened my eyes again. The return was quick but incredibly softer than the Salvia Divinorum. Maybe because I should go deeper to make a more structured comparison. In the following hours and the next day I clearly perceived an inner energetic release. It is as if sharing one's energies in a context that tries to explain the universe, reality, and tries to help others understand themselves and their nature better in some way recharges you and allows you to flow better in everyday life. It was an experience of enormous sharing, love for knowledge and collective development, creation and contemplation.